Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to today's stream. So, welcome everyone. Let me know if you can listen my voice today almost the same than on previous stream because now today I'm using a new microphone. Let me know if everything is working fine on your side, and let me know if you can listen to music and it is not too loud, or let me know if my even most important thing, my voice is the sound of my voice is good because I am using my new microphone today. I hope it sounds better than on previous stream. Just please let me know. And okay, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And okay, you can listen to me. It's fine. So my voice is good, loud and clear. So everything looks like it's working fine. Hey, Daisuke, thank you. Because today my microphone is new. That's the reason why I have been making some testing before, but I don't know how to set up properly the levels here on the audio settings from the OBS, and I hope it's working fine. Okay, because sometimes one test that I have done, some sounds a bit sounds a bit of distortion. Hope today not. So if so, please let me know. So I'm gonna try to pay as more attention as possible to the chats to answer all of your questions or your comments about the streaming, what I am doing today. Let me know your questions, your doubts about any technique I am making, or any other technique that you would like to learn or you would like to review, or to talk with me about any aspect of jewelry designs you would like to know. So just drop your comments and questions on the chat. Okay, so it looks like everything is working fine on your side about the sound. Okay, perfect. Okay, today I'm gonna stay focused about the streaming, so about the working. I know that there are big news yesterday, but I prefer to stay focused about what I'm going to do now, because the main reason is because we don't have answers for you, or I don't have any answer for you, or a special answer for you. So any of you who are interested on to know what is happening, I try to give you, I'm gonna put you the direct link from the Pixologic website for the official questions and answer page. So there you will find maybe the answers you are looking for. Okay, so let's go talking about jewelry design, the sculpting, and the most important thing, try to enjoy the stream of today. So as I said on my previous stream, today I'm going to work on this design. What I have in mind is to make it completely manufacturable, or to being able to produce it in the precious metals. It's going to be covered. Most of the body is going to be covered with stones. I have been talking with a stone setter, and he was giving to me some guidelines about the stone sizes and things like this. And I'm gonna try to retake this design I did some years ago, and I'm gonna try to rebuild it, not from scratch, but most of the things that are already done, in my opinion, from a jewelry point of view, must be redo again or refine. Or but today I'm gonna start today. Maybe on my future stream, I'm gonna follow with this design as well, and because I would like to make it to have a real piece, a real jewelry piece from this design. I already manufactured this. If you go to my website, here you go to the gallery. Here you will find some pictures of it. You can see here. this one or this one. It is 60 millimeter tall from the upper part till the lower portion of the design. So I'm gonna try to keep it as it is. I think it's a good size, 60 millimeter. Maybe I can try to stay below 60 millimeter, maybe 58, no more, but 60, from my opinion, looks good, and it works as a pendant. It's going to work as a pendant. It's not too big for a pendant, or it could be work as a brooch as well. So I will check it out if I decide to make it a brooch or a pendant. The idea that I have is more as a pendant, but let's see what comes out. So, okay, so let me read your questions. Well, what I can say, what's your content? Yeah. Did you do the 3D printing, wax, standard burnout, and pour? No, I outsource all the services. My job is as a digital sculptor, mostly for workshop brands and for private collector for jewelry. So my focus is only on the digital part of the process. Of course, I try to learn as much as I can from the other processes, from the 3D printing, as you said, casting, polishing, and so on, because it's very important when you are designing on a screen using a digital tool. It's very important to know the processes that comes behind what you are doing. So the thing that you are doing on the screen needs to be solid on a printer, on a casting process, and so on, all of the processes. Okay, can you please enlighten me how to make a string of text? Jones is asking how to make a string of text or patterns, separate polygons, conform a surface, like test around a coin. Oh, I don't know exactly what you mean about the string of text of pattern. Please let me know. Please give me more information about it. I don't really understand what you are looking for. Okay, honestly, depends on what let's make it first. Okay. Let me see if I have lost any questions. Okay, I'm gonna try to choose the questions that are related of the streaming, because I think I know that some of you are already talking or asking about the news from yesterday, but I gotta try, because I'm really worried about answer your questions about the streaming, about the question or your doubt about the techniques that I'm gonna use today. So I'm gonna try to pay as more attention to the chat, but let's see. I'm gonna try to read as much as I can. I know there is a flow along command to confirm object. Is there a way to say like flow along? Mohammed Hello is saying, is there a flow along command to confirm objects? Is there a way instead of like flow along command in GIS or Gizmo? I don't know what you are saying. Maybe you are saying something like this. If I grab a plane, gonna make a polymesh. Let's add more resolution. So maybe what I understand is to flow meshes along a path, or along a path. Yes. Let's make so. What you can do is using the strokes and curve functions, you can frame a mesh along a curve, based on the border, based on polygroup, or based on creased edges. For example, if you are gonna paint here a mask, something like this. You paint a mask. You can paint a mask. Now you can make a polygroup. Now Ctrl W shortcut for create a new polygroup based on the mask portions, and you can come back to the stroke and turn off this and this and frame the mask using this option with the polygroups. So then you have here this one. So you can grab any of the curve brushes, maybe let's see this one, and just touching the, let's make the brush a little bit smaller, just touching the curve, you will, of course, first you need to get rid of your subdivisions first, and you will have this thing. Or for example, if I grab this IMM primitives and a sphere and I make a curve, turn it on curve mode, you can start making things like this. I don't know if this is the answer of your questions. Flow along the path mesh. Yes, that's it. So you can do this, or for example, if you are making a ring, let's make this a polymesh. Let's add more subdivisions, 1, 2, 3 times, for example. You can, for example, let's turn on the symmetry here at both sides. Let's grab, for example, the lasso tool. What you can do now is let's try to create something like this. Try to make a ring band, something similar. You can do this. And now you do the same as before, Ctrl W. Get rid of the subdivisions, coming back again to the stroke, blur functions, frame mesh, and now, as I did before, we can click here without the symmetry, and now you can, for example, I think in this case tubes, they are going to work better. Yeah, something you can use this, or I already have this brush already made by me. This is to make this kind of things. You know why it's something wrong with the left curve. Let's see. You can see what I am saying. You can attach mesh of our insert brush to any curve using this process or this method. Emmanuel is, oh, who I make a Coca-Cola bottle cover? What do you mean, a Coca-Cola bar cover? I don't know what you mean. For what do you want that? Okay, okay, so you have more than one stream. Yeah. Okay, so this is the option that I recommend to you. I'm gonna try to repeat it. I'm gonna try to do it. To make only one path like this, Ctrl W. Now I have here, let's create a new one polygroup, Ctrl W, I have one polygroup. Now I can stroke, frame mesh, and I can flow the stones along the curve like this. But this is not a system that I use very often, because you can see here you can have some problems when we are talking about the stone setting. But for example, we are talking about any completely different thing like this, there isn't any problem, depending on what you need. So you can use this process for many different things. Don't forget to use the frame mesh options inside of the stroke menu for that. So let's come back to the original. Okay, thank you very much, Jen. Let me check out the questions. Okay, let's let's come back. What I have in mind is, just as I said before, to start reviewing this this design, I'm gonna check first the measurements. I'm gonna open here my left tray. Again, that's the reason why I have this cube on the back. The idea that I have, this is the first idea that I have in mind, is to make something like this, something similar. So the pendant is going to be almost flat on the at the back, almost, because I don't like the vertical cuts on the back. So I will try to add it on more organic curves on the back, but mostly this is what I want to achieve. Is the main reason why I want to try to do this is to, of course, the first reason is going to be for weight saving, because as it is now, it's too weight for being a pendant, and you're gonna lose a lot of you need to put a lot of money. You are thinking about to cast this in gold, because this is big. As I said before, it's 60 millimeter from top to the bottom, and it's quite heavy like it is now. So the idea that I have in mind is to try to make it on the back as flat as possible. And another reason why I'm gonna turn this off is because this is, I'm gonna use this as a reference. You can see that the cube goes mostly from the top edge till the bottom edge. So if I go here, if I'm selecting the cube on the back, if I read the measurements, now it is 65 millimeter. In Y, here I have 65 millimeter now. From this point to this point, now it is 65. And I'm gonna try to make it a little bit smaller, 60 millimeter. Because as I said before, to try to save as more weight as possible, so I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so the only thing that I need to do is selecting the cube, coming back to the scale master, set the measurements again. I'm keeping this button active. I'm gonna change from 65 to 60. I'm gonna change all the measurements according to this piece, to this subtool. So let's resize everything. So ZBrush will start checking all the subtools one by one, and I'm going to change the whole design from 65 to 60 millimeter. Okay. Alex Gomez is saying, what do you say on my, yeah, if you are interested in using my interface, my custom interface, you can come back again to, you can go to my website. You see nachoriesco.com. If you go to the resources part, you can scroll down. Here you have a bunch of key shot materials, NPR filter, for example, alpha, some more stuff. And here you can download my custom interface. So this clicking here will redirect you to my Dropbox download folder. So if you are interested on getting my custom interface, you can go to my website, to the resources section, and you will find it here on the bottom. Okay. Okay, let me see if I have lost any of your comments. Okay, looks like everything is working fine. Okay, let me go. So now we already have 60 millimeter. I'll take it up twice. So this is 60 millimeter from top to bottom. And another checking that I'm gonna do, or we can do, of course, I'm gonna need to review or check again all the measurements of the design, because now it's 5 millimeter smaller. So from at some points I will need to change some thicknesses, I think so. But as I said before, I'm gonna change almost everything, or most of the design. I'm gonna rebuild completely the body, completely the scales. So I don't, at this moment, I'm not very worried about the measurements. The main measurement I'm worried about is the height of the design. Another thing that I'm gonna check if how small needs to be the scales to be able to set 1 millimeter stones. So for that, I already have this. This is one of my custom brushes. I think so. you can see what it does. I can set, or I can insert the stone seats or the stones holes or holders, whatever you can call it. This is what I did with this brush. What I'm gonna check is using this plugin. This is a very useful plugin for jewelry design. It's an IMN draw size, where you can set the exact size of your insert brushes. For example, if we have in mind to set 1mm stones, maybe I'm gonna set this to 0.9mm. Clicking here, and when you can see the mesh is growing on your surface. You press the Ctrl key, and ZBrush will make the insertion to the measurement you set here before. So this is what I have here. It's 1mm. For 1mm, of course, this is a little bit smaller, because when most of you who are familiar with jewelry design, mostly when you're working with the stone settings, you need to have more metal to be able to set the stone properly on the surface. So if we are thinking about to set 1mm stone, a 0.9mm seat will be okay. Maybe 1mm stones, they are going to be very small, too small, because compare with the scales as they are now, we are going to have a lot of space surrounding each stone. Maybe we grow the stone from 1mm to 1.2, let's say 1.1. Yeah, maybe will be better. But the information that I have now is when I'm gonna make again the scales pattern, I'm gonna try to make the scales like this, and trying to get here enough space surrounding the stone. Around this distance should be around 0.3mm. So of course the prongs will be here, maybe 4 prongs for each stone. But the most important thing here is to don't have the scale too close to the border of the stone like this. I need to be from this point to this point, as I said before, 0.3mm. So it should be a little bit wider. So this is an information that I have when I design the scale pattern. So, but at this point, this is going to be enough to know what is the room I have available to set 1 or 1.2mm stones, or a mix of both, because the stone setter can be changing the sizes of the stones according to the part of the body. So that this is a word for the stone setter. So, but I need to know that I'm giving to him and not material to set the right stone sizes. What plugin do we have to download for your interface? For my interface, the external plugins that I use most of the time related to jewelry design is the IMM draw size, a kit called metal quotes. So that this is very important to know the weight of your designs. And another plugin that I like to use very often is the Dynamesh utility plugin and the Precision Extract plugin. You review my video after, so you can take note of the list. So Precision Extract, kit called metal quotes, IMM draw size, and Dynamesh utility. For me, they are the most important plugins on my workflow related to jewelry design. So who would you make the glass material for the hems? Like emeralds, rubies, and diamond. Chris Johnson. But maybe you are talking or you are asking about key shot, not about the ZBrush, right? To make the glass material for the hems. The most what I recommend to you, emeralds, rubies, and diamonds, and most of the time I start from the default stones material that Keyshot has. So just making some changes on the values or tweaking them a little bit of the changing the reflection, the colors, and things like this. You know, I know that the rendering the stones it's a very tricky part of the process. Okay, so let's follow. So now I know that I'm gonna undo this. Okay, what I did, this is a very cool feature introduced with the latest version. But you can, for example, I made some groups. For example, the B1 is only the body, because I'm going to be able to stay focused only on the body. The B2 only is focused on the arm. The B3 on the head. B4 on the central stone. And the B5 is I come back to the whole visibility from everything. I found this very useful for when you are working with several subtools. This is a good way to organize your work or stay focused about different parts of your design. So I'm gonna start working on the body, right? No, you are asking about ZBrush. Yes, I was basically asking if you just were going to render in the material. No, what you can do, for example, ZBrush, depending on the kind of rendering that you are looking for, ZBrush, you know that I love to make renders inside of ZBrush because they have the feeling of illustration or hand drawing renders, from my opinion, or the kind of render that I use or that I make from ZBrush. But if you are looking for a hyper realistic or photographic realistic jewelry rendering, it's much better to send the piece directly to Keyshot. Here you can see here I have the button here with the connection. You know, I think that you already know the bridge between Keyshot and ZBrush, where you can send your models directly from ZBrush to Keyshot. Just clicking here, this button, that you will find it here, render, external render, you will find it here. So when in Keyshot you will be able to achieve more realistic renders. Okay, I'm gonna be streaming here for 2 hours. So now it's from now till my local time, and now it's 6:30 till the 8th. So 1 hour and a half more. So let's come back to the design. So I'm gonna start working on the body. I'm gonna hide this. I'm gonna keep the stone visible as a reference. This is the stone that I have in mind. Now the measurements of the stones this is 16 by 16. Of course, I should talk first to the stone seller to know which kind of a stone they are going to use and which is going to be the size for the stone. So this is just a Cabochon. This is going to be flat on the back. This is not diamond cut or any other gem cut, the style, the stone. So this is going to be a Cabochon. I don't know how to pronounce it in English. It's Cabochon in Spanish, so it's Cabochon, or Cabochon in French, or mostly in French, but you know what I'm saying. This is the kind of stone that they are flat at the back. When I load your interface, I lost head to the top with show axis. Yeah, depending on, because my interface works on a 22 inches monitor and at HD resolution. If your monitor has more resolution or less resolution, or is bigger or smaller, my interface will fit different than on my screen. So when I love how do you use interpolate for the stringing out your hems? No, I didn't try it yet. The hem stones. What I do is most of the time, depending, I use array mesh. If you are making circular arrangements, as I was explaining on my previous stream, when you, for example, here you have one stone here, and you are looking for to make a circular arrangement with the many different stones, the array mesh is very useful because I have control with the measurements of the stone. That it's the most important thing when we are making jewelry. But I didn't test it yet, the interpolate with the stones. What else? I love pushing renders out from ZBrush to Keyshot. Me too. But some material I can use because of some nerves issue. Which kind of nerves issue are you having? I don't know how to export nerves info. You know that it is not possible to export. You are saying I don't know to export nerves info from ZBrush. This is not export nerves information from ZBrush is not possible because inside of ZBrush you are making a mesh, so it's not possible to export any nerves information. When you are exporting, or it's a mess. Depending on if you are exporting a mesh composed by quads or triangles, maybe the behavior inside of Keyshot could be a bit different depending on the kind of finishing you are looking for. But working with nerves and ZBrush is not possible. The music is too loud. Okay. Make it. Let me know who it is now. Some material gave me an error when assigning because it doesn't have yet. Yeah, I don't have that problem because the version that I have of Keyshot is the Keyshot for ZBrush version. So I only send information from Keyshot from ZBrush to Keyshot. So I don't work with nerves. But yeah, it is not possible to work with nerves and ZBrush. Okay, interface. Okay, it fixed it. Okay, I was talking about can view thumbnail. Oh, the thumbnail. Yeah, you want to get rid because you are noticing that I'm not using the thumbnail here. You can go maybe to preferences, can view, and you can turn it on and off here. You want. My default, I have it turn it off. And you want to see the thumbnail, you can turn it on and turn it off here inside of preferences. Okay, and this is the okay. I'm gonna select the body. I'm gonna hide the arms. Where are the arms? Here. I'm gonna put an arrow here. Arrow here. Another arrow here. And another arrow here. I'm gonna hide the arms, and I'm going to keep the body to use it as a reference. The problem that I have is this kind of thing that it's behind, this kind of knot that I have on the back part, it adds a lot of weight to the design. So I'm gonna try to make it a bit different. So to create the body, or to try to design the body, I'm gonna use spheres. What is the of the application you are using? What about what you're asking? What is the of the application? You are saying this is an application that I use for explaining to paint things on my screen. It is called Epic Pen. It's a very useful application for making an explanation. But I love to explain things with drawings, with lines and with scribbles. Okay, I'm gonna append let's pin and see a sphere. I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna select it first. Let's go to scale. Let's make it smaller. Whoops, what happened here? Like this. Where are you? Here you are. So I'm gonna start from the neck. Try to keep the neck or the head as it is now, as much as I can. Let's make it bigger. And let's start making change. Shit. You know that when you are trying to make a change of sphere using the shift key, you will keep the same size for all of your spheres. Okay, so like this, and maybe I'm gonna start grabbing one. Let's go here, you go here, you go there. Maybe I'm gonna try to make here, because here I have two loops. You can see here on the body. Then I am having one loop here, goes down, goes up again, goes down again. So maybe what I'm gonna try is to try to make it more simple, just to have to make more something like this. I'm gonna try to avoid one loop. Let's try how it looks like. So let's start grabbing sphere. So here, let's start reposition the spheres. Most of the time when I sculpt or I create dragons, this kind of dragons, or snakes, I always use spheres to create the base mesh, the starting point. This is the flexibility that you have with the spheres. It's great when you are designing this kind of things. Also with when you are designing trees or flowers or branches or designs that has branches or things like this, roots. Spheres are very useful. Let me think for a moment. I'm gonna hide the body. To see, because as I said before, I don't want to make it completely flat on the back. That's almost flat. Should be flat to be able to be wear as a pendant. Another problem that I have is this kind of hair is pointing out too far to the back side. Maybe it can be produce damage on the chest when you're wearing the design. Put here another one. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to remove the, hi Greg, I'm gonna try to remove the coils on the back. I'm gonna try to make less coils on the back. Why do the skeleton reverse halfway down the body? I don't know what you mean. Why do the skeleton reversed? Thank you very much. Apex Shift 4. Most of your names are quite complicated to pronounce, at least for me. Try to read your names. Your nicknames, I mean. So, let's see. Okay, let's follow with more sphere here. So I'm gonna use this back part of the body to be able to hold the basket or the stone setting to try to get contact points or welding points. Let's make let's try to follow the tail as it is. Goes here. You know that another cool thing about the spheres is when you start, for example, let's try to make the body thinner at the bottom. If I, instead of change the size of an sphere, if I click on the connection, I'm gonna make them, all of them, smaller at the same time. So the tail goes here. Here, here, here. I'm gonna try to work a little bit faster to don't be here wasting too much time making the same thing. So like this, like this. So now we can make this change a little bit smaller. I'm gonna try to make the tip of the tail not so thin because it is too thin now. I think so. Can break easily. So okay, that's the idea. So let's make it like this. Let's try to have a good flow or something like this. So it's like the body is holding the stone. That's the idea of the design. It's holding the stone. If I turn on here the visibility, with our arms, it's gonna work almost the same. I'm gonna try to redo this kind of hair strands or ornaments that the body has, because they also add a lot of weight to the design. I like them, but I'm gonna try to make them more simple, not so complicated and so thick, because they are adding a lot of weight to the design. Okay, so make it something like this. Yeah. Yeah, welcome from India. Good, nice place. I never been here. Never been there. Also, it is important to give a strength to the body to try to add some contact points to make it strong enough that it is not able to be bended or to be able to break it easily. That's the reason why I like this, that the tails goes behind the body, and here we are going to have here a contact point, and this is going to be the body, of course. Here I'm going to have a problem here with this arm. Maybe if I'm gonna turn this on, because this is going to be still moving things here. This is going to be the piece that it's going to hold the stone. I'm gonna add another sphere here. I'm gonna add another sphere here to start refining the curves. Okay, I think we're gonna still have the same problem, because here I am adding the thickness of the body in this part and this part. We are making here a double thickness, and I think it's not going to be necessary. So let's put this here and there to try to reduce as much as possible the weight. So during the designing process, you should have this in mind during the designing process. Of course, during the different steps of the design, you can be making different adjustments. One of them is to make things hollow when it's necessary, but if you are considering the weight saving during the designing process, the final weight is going to be less, because we are going to try to make things as light as possible. And the problem that I had with this piece is that it was too complicated for printed, too complicated for polishing, and too complicated for even for casting. I think I'm gonna use this as a base mesh to start making a real mesh, to start playing with brushes. Of course, all the CS spheres looks like, we can say that they can be 50% or maybe 60% of the final result. So we are, keep in mind that we are just making a base mesh as a starting point. So we are not making the things definitive things. So keep in mind that. So I like to make S's, nest shapes everywhere as much as I can. Try to don't make things completely straight from all of the views. So I like to the shapes be more like an S, like than a C. For example, here I am using, for example, let's create like here another S. Here you are watching here the S. Here I have an S. And here I have another one, to double S here. Same this from this view. Here I have an S here, and here a double or triple S here. I think that it adds value to the design. Just leaving things completely straight or flat. Okay, only you scale the CS sphere at the end is smaller. When you are building your CS sphere chain, remember that I started from this point and below adding different spheres. So in the scale mode, for example, when you are scaling at this point, you are scaling all of the spheres that comes behind the point you are adjusting, like this. For example, if I decide to make the tip a little bit smaller, instead of being scaling one by one a single sphere, just clicking here and there, you are going to be able to make quick adjustments. Another thing we can do is make the neck a little bit smaller. Now here I am scaling the spheres individually, like this. And the body should be in contact more or less with the arm, because I'm gonna try to redesign the arms as well. And I'm going to make this, because I like to add air That's one of the things that I like to use, because as you can see that by default I have the thumbnail hidden by default. But I make it when I am designing things, when I start designing something, as I am doing now. This is a very important thing, part of the process, where you are able to see the silhouette of the design. And in this case, it's very important the empty spaces like this ones. Or even this is going to be very smaller. Here I can see this is very smaller one. I'm talking about this one. But I like to have here 2 empty spaces. It's another tool that you have to save weight when you're designing something. Try to play with the empty spaces. So as more empty spaces you have, you will be able to save more material. So maybe I think like this. Maybe what I see here on my silhouette is the thickness here. Maybe it looks too thick compared with this. It is not compensated. Maybe what I can do now is to coming back here. It should be more or less like this. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit to open this space. Another tip that I can give you, or okay, I don't like to talk about tips because they are not mine. I learn from everywhere, from everywhere and from everyone. So I grab the information that I'm looking for. So I'm not trying to invent anything, but I like to make, when I'm designing pendants, I like to turn on the floor. This is a recommendation that I can give you, and turn on the axis. From the front view, there's the vertical axis and the horizontal back axis. And then you can go now to draw and set the elevation to 0. So now we have the design in 2 halves, right? So we have this is going to be the half number 1, the number 2, the number 3, and the number 4. So when we are designing a pendant, to try to find a good balance between from the design, what I see here is that I have more distance from the center to this part than from the center to this part. Maybe this is going to be here, this is going to be here. I think more or less is compensated, more or less. And I have the distance between this point and the lower part of the sign is much longer than this, but I like it because it's not going to be a square. The pendant is not going to have a square form or proportions. So I like this, but I try to keep this axis visible when I am designing, to try to get a good balance when I am making when I'm designing a pendant. What I can see now is, for example, if I see here the distance, if I compare this point with the same point here, more or less here, what I see here is, here I have an empty space, and here we have a lot of things here. This is completely, here we have a lot of things. I think what I'm gonna try to do is try to make this, I want to move. Okay, you go here and you go there. I'm gonna try to make this more like this. I'm gonna try to push this in to the left to be able to see, to try to find a better balance from the body. I'm gonna add here another contact point. This contact point is going to be necessary because if we have this space, the tail, I think, is going to be very easy to break when you're wearing your pendant, and you can, you know how to say it, when you are grabbing this point of the pendant with your clothes, for example, it's going to be very easy to break this because this part is going to be too thin. That's the reason why it's going to be necessary to find here a contact point here to add more strength to this portion, to the thinnest portion of the pen. Okay, I think like this, it looks better. A snack, yeah. Thank you. Hola, Eduardo. With the Cabochon base be a different method? Yes, the Cabochon is going to be the idea is to have everything split into different pieces. So the Cabochon set, the Cabochon seat, or I don't know how to call it, it's going to be a different metal. The body is going to be one metal. Maybe the arms is going to be the same metal. The tail, this kind of hair that it has, it should be less complicated as it is now. I'm gonna try to make it more simple. And the head is, and the horns, maybe we're gonna try to find a combination of different metals. And for that, it's going to be necessary to think about how to split it into parts and start creating an assembling system between each other. Also, what you can do here is playing with the draw, coming back to the draw. Let's make it a little bit smaller, not make it so big. And you don't want to see the colors because they can be confused when you are rotating your model. You can set the fill mode to 0, so like this. And you can play with the tiles like this, because I'm just using the floor as a reference, as I said before, just to know that I am making a good proportion when I'm designing the body. Yeah, key with different keys. Yes, you're right. So I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna convert the spheres to polygons. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. You know that clicking here, you can make it smaller or bigger, because as my canvas is not too big, that's the reason why I prefer to keep this not visible. But if I keep it visible, I'm gonna try to make it as smaller as possible. Okay, let's select this. Let's go to adaptive skin. If we go to preview, this is what we are doing. Take care about this, because by default, you can see here, ZBrush is making your sphere chain into a Dynamesh mesh. That's the reason why I'm having this and this. We are merging everything together. I don't want to create a Dynamesh to avoid that. So what you can do, you should make is set up this value that comes by default with 256 to 0, and now we are going to create a regular polygon mesh, so like this, and I'm gonna make adaptive skin. So once we have the skin done, it is going to be here on our toolbox. Let's append it. Here you are. This is going to be this is still the sphere. When I'm pressing the A on the keyboard, you can see you can come back and forth to the mesh or to the spheres. And this is, you are pressing here the A, nothing happens, because here now we are working with real polygons. The part will be solderers or bracelet, or will be, oh, I'm sorry about the vocabulary. The part will be penetrated. Yes, they are going to be. I think that they are going to use laser welding. Laser. They are going to be welded with laser. Yes, solder. Soldered or welded. They means the same, right? Like in some cases, they are going to use. What I'm going to try to, when I'm designing the keys, the male and female keys, I'm going to try to put a welding point on the mostly on the back, to being able to make non-visible welding points. Welding is cleaner, yeah, cleaner. It's more or less mostly the same, but a different concept, as far as I understand. Okay, so now I am working with real poly. What I do now is to try to avoid this kind of corners that we have. Quite simple to remove. Go into your deformation options. Here you have start polishing, polishing and polishing. You can be polishing or relaxing your. Oops, we are having here a problem. When we are relaxing the mesh here, you can see it's better to stay polishing. And this is what we have. Let's turn off the polish. And now it's time to start refining the body. Let's grab, for example, the move topological. We're gonna start refining here. Let's make something like this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin here. I'm gonna pin a cylinder. Let's rotate it 90 degrees from this view. Let's make it smaller. You can see that the stone is exactly in the middle. This will help. I'm gonna turn this on. This is going to, the behavior of this subtool is going to be as a subtraction. Let's turn light boolean. So the reason why I'm doing it here is because I'm gonna try, because if you can see here the body is placed on top of this hole. So it hasn't sense to have here this thickness. So what happened with music? Yeah, welding is different from soldering. Welding is probably a stronger one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, welding and yeah, when you are welding when you are saying welding, maybe you are saying more like fusing. When you are fusing two parts together. When you are soldering, you are using a third material that you are using for make the soldering itself. I don't know. So this tool will help me to know when I am working on with the body, I can start playing with the body like this. And you can see this tool is eating or is subtracting the body. That's the reason why I place it there. Another thing that I have is as I said before, I did something like this. Is as this part, it's going to be put it from the front, I think so. It's going to be assembled from the front to the back. So for that, I need to have a space here. So I need to remove this portion of the body. So during the designing process, the light boolean option, it's for me, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite tools inside of ZBrush. I'm gonna make a duplicate of this one. I'm gonna make it bigger because it helps a lot when you are designing like this. I'm gonna turn this on. Let's make it, but it should be, I'm gonna put an arrow here. So you can see now what I mean. It should has this little space here. And here, what I'm saying here, this is the thickness. This is too much. Need to push it back. Let's make the control point. This is going to be good for having another contact point there. Let's make things thinner. Yeah, it's a matter of being here, playing and playing and trying to find the right shape. So maybe this is going to be mostly. Another thing that I have in mind is to start thinking about the veil system or the loop system, because from where the pendant is going to hang, maybe I can use this part of the body to make it higher, more like this. Even I think it gives more an aggressive pose to the dragon. I think so. I'm gonna make this portion a little bit thicker. Let's grab the inflate brush. Let's inflate this part. Only just the beginning of the body. And because the hang is gonna hang from this point. If I turn this on, this is another good thing about having the axis visible, because to have good balancing here, the loop is going to be, it's going to hang from this point. Here we are going to have here the chain, and this is the middle. So I should start thinking about where I'm gonna add the hanging point. So you can see now it's here and it's grown. I need to push it a little bit to the left. This is another cool thing about using the floor when you are making pendants. So it should be more like this. It should stay more here, like this. And maybe the neck would be more. I'm gonna try to grab this and try to bend it more like this. Okay, and one thing that I'm thinking now is I can use the horn to hide the loop here. Try to make it not invisible, but mostly invisible, because they can be hidden by the tip of the horn. Let's think about it after, when we work on the head. Hola Aguilet, un saludo desde Madrid, es mi tierra, soy de Madrid. Is there a center of gravity tool to help find balancing point for the mass of the design? ZBrush hasn't that, but an external application that I use, but mostly for make things hollow, is Mesh Mixer. Mesh Mixer has a balancing tool. It can be very useful for pendants. It calculates the gravity center. So the idea, the system that it has is it tells you if you are making a figure, he is going to be stable. So, and can be useful to know the same for pendant side. I think so. Been practicing live boolean. It's so cool. Thank you. Yeah. Live boolean. This is, maybe I can say, if I can make a list of my favorite ZBrush tools, or tools that we have, or addition, or latest addition, maybe the live boolean is my favorite. Let's apply some polishing. Okay, let's see. We are gonna have here a problem with the arm, but we can make it different. So it don't really worry at me at this point, because I can make it. As I said before, I'm gonna try to make it, and it's gonna be necessary to change this, because as I said before, I'm going to need here a contact point. I'm gonna turn on my Z axis because in this case it's going to be useful. And I'm going to grab because the hair should be now here. There. Here we are gonna need a contact point. I like to keep the contact points behind to make them not visible from the main view, from the front view. So as much as you can hide the contact points, that they will be much difficult to clean when you are polishing the piece. So try to keep them not visible from the main view as much as you can. So maybe here, let's do. Here we are having here the same problem. Maybe what I'm saying now is not. It's the axis here is not straight. It is more something like this. I should turn this to here till get it completely straight. I think so. With this change, maybe I can improve this part. So okay, so let's see. Let's make all things visible. I'm not going to use the prongs because I think I'm gonna need to make the prongs again. So let's delete them. Let's turn this on. The stone and the other things. Okay, so I'm gonna now use the pixel boxes here. And let's rotate it like this. Let's put it to the front. Let's rotate it. Maybe we can rotate it from this view, from this point. It's gonna hang more something like this. You can see how important it is to have the axis active when you are watching where is exactly the middle. So how much, so that I think the head, it should be, I'm gonna grab the whole head. They should be a little bit more to the front. I'm gonna try to redesign the head. So maybe like it is now is too big and it has a lot of too much detail. I think so. So I need to make it more simple. Or at least try to make it more simple and try to don't lose too much personality from the original design. Okay, but here we are. Okay, so we are still having here the same issue here. Let's push this in. We said before, of course, the back part is going to be important because we are not going to leave that completely flat, but not so important that the front view. Maybe like this. Let's save this. Oh, okay. Practicing. I'm from Spain. Vivan sometime from Spain. I'm living from Spain. I was born in Madrid and I'm from Spain. How do you shrink the tail? Right there. Alt shrink the tail. Shrinks what? I was shrinking the tail here. No, just smoothing using the smooth brush. As we are working with a very low resolution mesh or very low dense mesh, at any time that you start smoothing the surface, you're going to be able to start. It's like that you are grinding or you are sanding the surface. If you can see that the effect is too aggressive, what you can do is holding this your shift key pressed, so you can reduce the intensity. and now you can start reducing with more control where you want, in this case, the body a little bit. I'm gonna smooth this part as well. This part, you can see it's like you are reducing the size, but what really you are doing is you are smoothing the surface, right? It's like a sanding effect or polishing effect. Okay, like this. Oh yeah, best addition for me, yeah, bas relief. Yeah, I'm still trying to find a good workflow for me when I am making reliefs. I make many reliefs. I make many reliefs, and I'm still. I think when I have the mindset to on my one of my future streamings to try to use the bas relief option with a completely different way, because the default way, just clicking a button and voila, having your relief done, I'm not really happy with the result I am having. So I prefer to be working piece by piece, so controlling the thicknesses, the distances, when you are putting different heights or playing with the different heights of the relief. But I'm gonna, once I got it more clear, I will make a streaming about that, how to make a relief using the bas relief of the new tool. But may I know, is decimating a compulsory process before 3D? Yeah. Okay, if your model is only a few thousand, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. What I am saying is because here you can see here I have 3 presets. I have 75 Ks, 150 Ks, 250 Ks. You can find it here inside of your decimation master. Here you have different settings. As far as you have more than 250 Ks, it's not going to be necessary to decimate your model. You can send it directly to your printer. It's not necessary. Of course, the mesh should be watertight, should be without any kind of issues, because talking about the Polycount, the kind of vertex you have, is not going to be necessary to apply a decimation if you have less than 200,000 polygons. I know you do make many relief. Yeah. Now I have to make one, because mostly the relief that I do is they can be medium or high reliefs, where we are talking about from the lowest point till the maximum height. They can be about 5 millimeters. Or the relief that I have to do too this week, they must be 0.5 millimeter thickness. So it's just for coins or medals, so for minting. So you need more control about your stepping up on your reliefs than getting the result just with one click. Just, it's my personal opinion, right? I bought one of your jewelry material packages, so oh, thank you very much. You bought it. Is there an ITP where you apply them? No. I think I know what material you bought. What I have is, if you go to my YouTube channel, I am here. If you go to my YouTube channel, here on this video, I was applying this kind of oxidized silver effect, sending color information from ZBrush to KeyShot, and to get different kinds of polishing surfaces. So maybe you can, this video will help to you to know more about the settings of the materials. And again, thank you very much for bought one of my materials. Did you have any input on the Bass Relief plugin? Yeah, I think that there already exists a plugin. I think I already got it here. I'm not sure. Maybe I remove it. No. Already exists one plugin for CNC machining. I don't know if you are referring to that one. It is it is called CNC something plugin, or I don't know. I don't remember exactly the name, but I didn't use it too much. Or so. Okay, let's I'm gonna leave the body as it is now, because the body still needs to be, now what I see now so far now, it's maybe the head is too big compared with the body, but I have lost, I think so, one tool here is this one. When you have this, okay, this is this kind of hair on the top will add more balance here, but I'm still watching maybe the head too big. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to make one test. I'm gonna try, maybe the head should be a little bit more centered. It should be more something like this. It has to be a little bit smaller. Maybe with a different angle. Yeah, I think like this, I think it works better. And I think I need to have a better balance here. Oh, from the tail. It should be more something like this. Let me compare with the original. This is the original. The original is more crowded, more full of things. But here we have, okay, that's the problem I have in here. I need to add this strand of hair here. Where are you? Here. It adds balance to the design. This piece. Where are you? Here. You add more balance. So I'm gonna add here this kind of wavy hair here to try to find a better balance between the left and the right halves. Okay, never mind. So the body still needs a lot of work. So let's jump to another thing. Flames. Now, flames. Now I'm gonna try to keep them more delicate or more elegant instead of apply flames and this kind of things that can be fit more on a motorcycle kind of designs or something. Just my personal opinion. Kenneth, how I do the scales. I can show you that. If you are interested on how to make the scales, I can show you. We can go ahead and start working on the scales. No, because you have your adapted battery plugin. Ah, yeah, as a jewelry art. Yeah. I have many doubts about it. But well, I know that you know it, that the reliefs, they are very tricky. So I think, my opinion, they even have more work than a 3D object. So you need to put a lot of time sculpting the different elements, to playing with the different heights, to keep them very clean for the CNC machine. It takes a lot of work. So just for making sketches or rough ideas about what you want to do, maybe it can be very useful. But you are looking for a better defined and finished relief piece, you should work more than just being clicking one button. That's just my personal opinion. But anyway, it's still a very good addition, a very good tool that can add you a lot of things. Let me read the questions. No, because you could pull the tail more to the right also for balance. Yeah, what I do is here I'm having another balance problem. Keep in mind that I said on my previous stream, I'm gonna apply here a hinge. I'm gonna put here a mobile part, because when you are wearing the pendant, this part could be a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm gonna put here a kind of hinge here. I'm gonna study the system here. I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna put here a kind of hinge, so where the tail can swivel front and back, so to try to avoid this kind of issue. So, but for me it looks balanced till now. So okay, I need to be thinking more about it, but I prefer to leave things as they are and start talking about completely different thing, because we can be completely blocked during the whole string pulling or pushing parts of the body. Yeah, thank you very much, Darius. But I try to be a good one. I'm just been trying to be. Yeah, balance weight. Yeah, balance weight is going to be very important. It's going to be, but I'm now just talking about the balance of the design. I'm going to try to put the same weight at both sides. So that's the reason why maybe I have to add here the kind of element here. This is a kind of fin or kind of curly hair that the dragon has, the Chinese dragon have. So I think that's the reason why I add this thing. Of course, this should be a little bit thinner. And I think about it's going to be necessary to add stones here or not. I don't know. I still to think a lot of things. What printer do you recommend or have experience with printing metal parts? Well, most of my design are printed on a wax printer. They're much more expensive than the resin ones. They have better resolution and less problems during the casting processes. You have normally go for those wax casting. Those metal printers are how expensive. Yeah, wax casting. Yeah. The best thing is that one of my best friends have one, so it's not too expensive for me. So, but that I think they provide a better quality for jewelry, for fine jewelry. You know what I mean? So when you are adding, when you try to get as more close as possible what you are having on the screen and on your hand, in my opinion, the wax printers are the best option for jewelry designs. Okay, you know it. Okay, let's talk about the scales if you want. This is still we still have 30 minutes. The system that I use to make the scales is I'm gonna use this. It's a process of UV mapping. You are already familiar with UV mapping, so you need to make a completely process. First, we need to make the UV mapping of the mesh, and then once we have the UV coordinates, we can apply a seamless or a tileable scale pattern to the surface. How do you feel about the fact that the channel? Yeah, I think it's gonna still be existing. Don't think about it. Congratulations. Okay, well, let's see what happened. But I really trust that it's going to follow existing. Put in a halter loop. Is there a better tool than Mesh Mixer? Did you try to balance your skull for putting up halter loop? I know. As far as I know, no, because this. I think that the best tool is your experience. If you are able to make a printing test or first before go ahead to the final model, yeah, that will helps a lot, because you can grab it on your hand and you can see what works and what doesn't, and that kind of thing. That I think most of those things are based on the experience. So about trial and error. When you are making something wrong, you learn what you have done bad. So at the next time, you're going to try to apply that knowledge to your next design. But as many other things, the magical tool don't exist. It's just a matter of being learning during your designing or your uh, your learning process, or your I don't find the word now, your professional career. I'm sorry. Okay, let's talk about let's make a fast and quick overview about how to make the scales on the body, or how to make a scale texture on the body. There's a company in UK, Switzerland that prints out in real gold. Yeah, I know. I think for traditional, for simple jewelry, as far as I know, because they show you very intricate designs with a lot of filigrines and things like that. But at this moment, I don't really trust on that technology yet. Or maybe we can say 70% of the design that you can make of jewelry, they are not going to be able to print directly in gold. But I don't know. It's like they uses a license. I don't know how to say it in English. Synthesizing or synthesizing, when you are having the original material is powder, and the laser start melting the little dots or the little particles of powder, and start making a solid material. But the surface is too rough, and it still needs to be polished a lot to try to get a shiny surface or a high quality surface. So at the end, I think, I don't know if it's really worth or not. I have a mannequin. Yeah, it's a good idea. Or hanging a 3D print and a scale balance. Yes, a real. You can find many. This is another good tip, Greg. What you can do is to download it. You can see on internet. You can find many different scanned persons, where you can grab the scanned information from the real person, and you can compare. You can put your pendant on the chest, and you can see how it works. Comparing the different scales or balancing. Yeah, it's a good tip. Sintering. Sinter, yeah. SLS technology. Gold powder, yeah. They can do gold, but the surface is not good. The technology is far away. Yeah, I'm agree with you. I agree. It's still the quality surface is too rough. I think they should be worked a lot to get good results. So let's make 2 different polygroups. Now you can see we have many different polygroups. Each of the polygroups is based on each segment from each subtool. I'm going to create only one polygroup, Control W, and I'm going to use the gizmo and the Control key to start to drag in a mask. You can do this, or you can do this an even easier way. You can go to polygroup. This is going to be very easy, because as it is a pendant, we are gonna put all the scales on the front, and at the back we are gonna put it is going to be mostly flat, or we are gonna apply another different texture on the back. or not? Okay, let's see. So let's go to polygroups and just click it on group front. We're gonna have now two different groups. One based on the front and another one based on the back. I'm going to do, okay, I'm gonna make it more dense first because it's better to work with more polygon. Let's apply one subdivision more, and now coming back to the group front. Now here, this is what we get. Of course, we are having this kind of jagged edge is not completely perfect, but now it's time to make a new mesh. Go into ZBrush, keeping the groups. I prefer to, for example, let's try to have a new mesh with the same amount of polygons. And for me, this is very important to set up the data size from 50 to 0 to try to get as more regular quads as possible. And now click on ZBrush. And now we have this a straight line exactly in the border of both polygroups. It is not completely straight. What you can do is to start polishing by features like this. You can see that the mesh reacts very fast because we are still working with a very low resolution mesh. You can use this, or you can use the smooth groups. You can start smoothing only the border to try to make it more straight where is necessary to apply tension. We can now, I'm gonna make an inflate a little bit, and let's make a new mesh again with the same, like this. Put it half, like this. Now we have two different polygroups, right? And also extremely expensive right now. Yeah, also the technology is also very, very expensive. Gotta go. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a good idea. This is a one that the industry already makes. So when you are things, this is called gold plated or gold. I don't know. Sometimes words and concepts comes to my mind in Spanish, and it's difficult to find the translation to English. But already exists that process where you have a core of another material, mostly resin or plastic, and you cover it with a metal, not a precious metal, of course, mostly with silver. Plated, yeah. It's different than gold plating because when we are talking about plating, we are talking about very thin coating on the surface. Now I don't remember the name, but my brain is working bad today. Okay, so now I'm gonna create a new poly group here on the tip. I like to make this just a personal preference. I'm gonna create a mask, masking all the tip. This is going to be the beginning of the neck. Control W. It's like having two caps, one at the end of the body and another one at the end of the body, one on the neck and another one on the tail. The tail should be a little bit smaller. Let's grab these polygons. Better than grabbing the polygons like this, what we can do is using the slice curve, we can slice the mesh like this, and we can group U and U, Control W, we have this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 polygroups, right? Now the two caps and the front view, the front polygroup and the back polygroup. Now it's time to go to the UV Master plugin. Gold Fillet. Gold Fillet. That's the name in English. Yeah, it could be. Vivan Santa is asking what's it if we want to scale on the back of the dragon. Yeah, we're gonna put, as you can see here, the original. The original has scales on the front and this kind of lines on the back. But I'm gonna try to make it more simple to try because I don't going to be so worried about the details on the back. So, but in the back, we still need to put anything or to try to add some designing element, but I still think about it. But I'm just making a quick example about how to apply the scale pattern, because what I like about the original design is because the dragon of the body is like he is twisted. And you can see he is twisted here when the scales here is on the back and the lines is on the front. I think this gives even more value to the design. I will try to replicate the same concept here, but for today, to don't be here wasting too much time with this, because the most important part is the process of the UV mapping and how to apply the seamless texture to the surface. Let's stay here. But for example, if I want to make something like this, what we can do, okay, let's do it. We can do here, we have two polygroups. Let's come back to the original. Undo. Here I am. So let's grab this polygroup, control and tap here. Control invert the mask. The only thing that you can do is I'm going to hide this part. Gonna hide this part. Control tap here, invert the mask, and this is just a matter of a manual painting. So with the mask pen, what we can do is to, this is going to, let me think, this is going to be scales. So we should remove the masking here. Maybe from this point to here. Okay, so this should be, let's start painting with the mask pen. The masked portion, it's going to be the scale pattern, right? Let's follow. So it should turn to the back. It should turns to the back like this. I should be painting here, 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 and till here. Right? So, and here we are having this portion like this. Let's hide this a little bit, because having the tip is not able to paint very well. Okay, like this. So same process as before. Oh, I made something. Okay, I need to coming back, invert the visibility. I need to grab this portion on a mask too. Okay, like this. Okay, so once we have this, same concept as before, Control W. Now we have one polygroup, is this one. Another polygroup is, this is going to be the scales, and this is going to be the back part. So again, making a new mesh. Let's click on double. And now we have, you can see now you have the twisted portion. Okay, what you can make we can grab more polygons here. For example, with the C modeler, let's grab in here more rows, more portion of the mesh. I'm holding the Alt key, so it's like you are painting, like this. Of course, now we need to regroup this polygroup and this polygroup, Ctrl W, and now we have the right distribution. I think so. So let's make a zero measure now. And now you can see here we have the right distribution of the polygroups. Yeah, I use nano on my bronze stuff. The cavity map, you can use the cavity map. I think you can use it. You can make it with the multi-map exporter maps. Here you can create the cavity. Of course, to be able to use to export the cavity first, you need to create the UV mapping first. Okay, let's do it quickly. Let's create here. Okay, this is going to be the cap, one cap. And here we are going to have Ctrl W, another cap. Okay. Let's save. Mask my cavity, then transfer into Polypaint. Yes. There are many ways. So let's go to the UV master. Okay, before do that, let's apply some more subdivisions. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now we have less than 2 million. This is going to be more than enough, I think. So now what you can do now is you can improve, or you can tweak things. So now let's go to work on clone to make a clone. Let's grab the mesh, keeping the polygroups. Very important to keep this option active. Done. So flatten the mesh. Now we have 4 different islands. This one should be a little bit more straight. Like this. What I like to do is to try to make it more straight. To try to get a good flow of the scales. Let's make it more or less like this. Try to keep it as more straight as possible. It's not necessary to make it 100% straight, but try to keep it as more straight as possible, like this. Just tweaking, because I don't know if I am adjusting the right polygon. Let's click on flatten. No, I was tweaking the wrong one. Flatten again, because the polygroup that we want to get good result is this one. So you go saving process. Try to put it straight, invert the mask. That's the bad thing about makes things quick. Okay, let's leave it like this. So I'm flatten, copy the UVs from the clone, coming back to the original. I'm paste UVs. So now we already have UV maps, UV coordinates. What I'm going to do now is the system that I use to apply the scales to the body is the surface noise. Go into the surface noise, click on noise. This small window will pop up. I use the vision where I understand that this part. Okay, thank you. You are welcome. Glad you understand it. If only my headset was on you, can you check it out? Okay, so I'm gonna use one of the default noise plugs that ZBrush has. Of course, now it's time to change from 3D to UV. You can get into the noise plug, and for example, we can grab the scales. What I do is click OK. Click OK. Come on. Okay. Okay. So now I change from white to black to see better the noise. I remove the basic noise to 0, and I can start playing with the noise plugin. So, and there you go. Here we have the scales. So let's make it smaller. Let's say 0.02, 0.015, 0.013. Okay. One good thing about this is you can start getting to the edit options. And for example, you can start playing with this. I'm gonna remove the base. I'm gonna make the edge thicker. You can see this kind of noises are parametric. So you can touch many different settings, or what you can do, you can import your own custom alpha. I'm gonna select one of my alphas. Let me make a quick search on my local hard drive. Remember where I got them. Yeah, they must be here. So here, and here. Okay, I'm gonna turn noise plug, this one, and I'm gonna change now the alpha, and this is what we have. This is too small. 0.2. Let's put 0.03. Okay, let's go 0.025. 0.025. Okay. So now, as we are having two different polygroups, just try to isolate this one from the other. But I like to, before apply the noise, I like to shrink it a little bit. I apply to shrink it. Now I apply the noise. I convert the noise into a mask. Clicking here, mask by noise. And now you can apply, you can start inflating, positive or negative. I'm gonna apply a negative value in this case. Come on, do it. Now I'm using the control key with this, and this is what we have. What do you mean about the link? The link? What kind of link are you talking about? So this is the way that I'm gonna use to apply. You can go to one of my previous streams for what is in the scaling. For example, when you are, let's undo it. We have the mask. You grab the gizmo, and here inside of the yellow square in the middle, you can see that ZBrush tells to you that scale X, Y, and Z. You can scale it. doesn't work, but you use the control key in combination of this central yellow square, you can inflate it. So now for this works better, depending on if you are using this or you are doing this. Also, you can use this inside of the deformations. Here you will find the inflate. You can apply positive or negative. For example, one of the new features that I love as well this is very useful for when we are talking about 3D printing. So for example, we can figure out that we are applying an inflate value like this. We remove the mask and we are noticing, or we are start thinking that this is not going to be enough for the 3D printing. So we are gonna lose a lot of detail. So what we can do is go into adjust last, and it's just going here, where it was before applying the deformation, here, control, tap. And now you can adjust the strength if you want. You can do this or another older method. Before start making any deformation, store your morph target. So let's go to morph target, store morph target, and now you can apply inflate. You're not happy, so you can apply more with all of the visibility. You can apply more strength or less. Most of the time what I do is I create two different models, one for rendering and another one for 3D printing. So of course, most of the time the models for 3D printing don't look good for rendering purposes because the details are too bold on the surface. But I prefer to keep a model with the softer details on the surface just for the renderings. And this is the process that I follow for the scale. It is not possible, depending on John is asking why it doesn't scale from the center. Yes, because the only way to scale it from the center, because here what you can do, let's make it again. We have this. Let's invert visibility. Let's apply a mask now. So if we send the gizmo to the center and we try to, we can't do it because the object is not homogeneous. It hasn't same size to all of the directions. So that's the reason why it is not possible to change the size from the center of the object. It is possible to change the size from the center as it is now, but the result is not the same. The best thing is like putting air from the inside. Is that the reason why we call it to inflate, is when we are inflating from the inside to the outside. That's the reason why I use inflate instead of scale. You can see now you can get a regular deformation here. Okay. Yeah, one model for printing and another one for rendering. It's a good. When you like to make renders, because if you don't care about renders, go ahead with your printing models and that's it. So, and on the back, I still need to think about it, what I'm gonna do. What I have in mind is I'm gonna reduce, because now what we have here, the shape of the body is like mostly like a tube. It is more or less like a tube, is completely tubular, like this. And I maybe will be better to try to avoid even more weight. Go from here more or less more something like this. So I'm gonna try to remove this part of the material, to try to remove more weight and even to add more design to the body, because now it looks like a tube of something, so it doesn't look good, I think so. But what you can do now is let's reduce the amount of polygons. I'm gonna isolate this polygroup, Control Shift and tap. Let's shrink it one too many times like this. One more time. Let's apply a mask, make everything visible again, blur the mask, invert the mask, and now you can use the inflate like this. Let's store the morph target first. Let's come back, store morph target, deformation, inflate, negative, like this. And here looks good, I think so, in this part of the body. But when the body becomes thinner, doesn't look good, because that's the reason why I store the morph target first, so I can grab my morph brush and I can retake the original shape on the parts I don't want to apply the deformation. Gonna get rid of this one. Like this. Let's smooth it. Let's reduce the intensity. Something like this. Let's gonna apply this, invert the mask, and let's apply some polishing. Polish. Polish by feature, and now I have this kind of shape that we're gonna save more weight. But again, I still need to think more about it, because that's the idea, but that I can see that it don't really works on some areas, some areas yes, on other areas not. Okay, I still need to think to give it around more about the body, because I'm not very happy with the results. But okay, I just did it to explain to you what is the scales application workflow. Okay, let's undo it. Let's come back to the original. Coming back. Where are you at? Here. I will start again from this point to start thinking about which is going to be the final body. Okay, so now it's time to live. So I will continue working on this. I will try to put more time if I have free time or during my streamings. Let's see, because I would like to tell you more things about, for example, how to use the stager. The stager it's a very cool feature for the head. And I should start thinking about the stone settings and many different things. But we have been talking about design concepts, how to create a base mesh for a snake or for a dragon like this. We have been talking about how to use the light boolean during the designing process. Hope has been useful for you. Leave your comments on the video if you want to still be here watching this design, or to start watching a completely different thing. And because what I try is to explain as more things as possible during my streaming. So in my beginnings, I was trying to start from to try to make one design from the beginning till the end. And in this stream and the stream from the past week, I was trying just to be explaining different concepts and different techniques. So maybe next year I will come back again to give you an example, and we're going to try to develop this kind of design from the beginning till the end, covering the whole process. But I don't know. So let me know if you prefer to be here talking more about the designing process of the dragon, or we can change to anything completely different. So So let's try to make this more, this kind of streamings are more cooperative as possible. Okay, so you would like to visit my website? You already know it. New one. You already say it. New one. Okay, come back. Okay, let's throw this away and let's start a new one. So I'm, as I said before, I was thinking about to start talking again about reliefs using the new bas relief tool. I don't know. Yeah. Muchas gracias, Victor. Okay, so because we are still thinking, as I said before, how to use properly the new bas relief option. For example, to start making things like this, and come here, cube. This is a, let's stretch it out a little bit. Let's make it bigger. Let's subdivide it. Let's grab this and project bas relief, project bas relief. To using this feature. Okay, so you would like to visit my, I already showed you my website. This is nacho.riesco.com. Here inside of the tutorials, you will see they are direct links to my YouTube channel or to my ZBrush Live previous streamings. And you are interested on reviewing or watch them again, you can visit if you want my Instagram. My Instagram is here. My name under Instagram is Escultura Digital 15. That means digital sculptor 15. Digital sculpture 15. Here you will see a sample of my work. You can contact me through here. I will be glad to help you as much as I can. And again, thank you very much for being here watching my stream. Hope it has been useful for you, interesting at least. So I will see you next year, so in 2022. So I hope you, wish you the best for all of you for the next year. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and keep sculpting. And that's going to be the most important thing. So keep sculpting. Don't worry about anything. So we are gonna still loving ZBrush next year, I'm sure. So stay safe and happy New Year for everyone. So see you there next year. I will post my next streaming. I don't know at this moment. I'm not sure when it's going to be, but I will post it on my social media, and you will see it on the calendar on the Pixologic website. You know where to find me. So thank you very much. Take care and see you next year. Bye to everyone.